Igbo ministers tackle Southeast governors over alleged lip service to Nnamdi Kanu's release agitation. We don't need anybody to tell us. It's not a rocket science. We don't even need your so-called Daily Post Nigerian media house to tell us. We know about all these things. Even the ministers are also complicit in this issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. Go and listen to what Maxwell Okpara said. Maxwell Okpara categorically said it. Igbos, or the so-called Ohadeze Iberibe, Igbo governors, Igbo ministers, they have been having a series of meetings from one joint to the other, from one government house to the other, and from one Una to the other, on how to go to meet Tinubu. Now, Tinubu was on their doorstep on Saturday to commission some projects in Enugu State, where they have opportunity also having a kind of town hall meeting with the so-called president. Yet, every of them was as quiet, as cool as ice water. They couldn't even present the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to him. When one nonsense and idiotic rep member by name Abo, whatever they call him, representing Udenu and Udana, federal constituency, he was asked, he said that the reason why they could not present the case is because many stakeholders have called for the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to release, so it is not necessary to present it before Tinubu. Can you imagine that? So we know about all these things. No time will tell, because when the time reach, all of them will reap what they sow. As long as this Biafra struggle is concerned, we are not going to remain in Nigeria forever. The Biafra is here to stay, and there's no anybody, I repeat, no anybody that is going to stop this quest. Biafra is a spirit, and that spirit is a spirit that can occupy and influence anybody or possess anybody at any point in time. And maybe very soon, that spirit will go to possess a retired general in the army from the Igbo descent or police. By that time, they will know exactly what we are talking about. The bottom line is that all the whole Igbo politicians are complicit. In fact, they are the reason why we are in this quagmire we find ourselves today. Here are other headlines. Things like this make us start to identify ourselves as Nigerians. Sunday Igboho shares experience at UK airport. The guy is close to denouncing his identity of being a Nigerian. Nnamdi Kanu insists on change of judge, declines Nigerian government request for trial resumption unless Binta Iyako recusal is permitted. Reno Mokri recounts how Obasanjo Fanekayode stopped Gaddafi's armed entourage into the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, or you can call them the geographical expression of a country. Bandit leader Dogo Issa killed in Kaduna forest clash. My dear, this one, you won't understand. All these things we keep hearing every now and then. Anyway, let us go straight to the reason why we are here. Please like, share, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. There's no much time, my brothers. We are going straight, just ahead. The Southeast governors have again been accused of paying lip service to the widespread agitation for the release of the indigenous people of Biafra agitator Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been detained on the order of a court by the federal government for the past 3.5 years. The governors were specifically accused of betraying the Igbo nation's common interest by failing to put pressure on Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led government to release Kanu, despite widespread call for his freedom from all walks of life, including professionally, internationally, and home-based politicians. A group of clerics operating under the urges of the concerned Igbo ministers commission made these accusations in an open letter addressed to the Southeast governors and made available to newsmen in Abuja, which happened which happened on Thursday, which is yesterday. The letter was signed by Reverend Tony Uzo Anthony, President General and International Coordinator, and Apostle Tony Osuji, Secretary General. Part of the letter dated January 8, 2025, read, "It is now evident that Mr. President and the Southeast governors took an oath not to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Last week, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, younger brother to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, revealed their deal between the 2023 general election with Seyi Tinubu, the president's first son, with the approval of his father, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on how Kanu would be released if Tinubu won the presidency. During his campaign in Imo State, the president promised that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be liberated during his presidency, but nothing has happened in nearly 2 years now after the assumption of office. Sadly, no Southeast governor confronted Mr. President during his tour of the region about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's infamous and illegal detention. It is now evident to everyone that our Southeast governors are the true source of insecurity in the Southeast. Otherwise, they should have passed for the release, or rather pressed for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who holds a lasting solution to the insecurity in the region. Mr. President, being misled by the Southeast governors, is on a path that can ruin his name and political ambitions in the region. God will appear in his time to expose the actions of the Southeast governors who, in one way or the other, have benefited from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's unlawful incarceration. We as a group are now urging all religious leaders to begin raising questions about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is yet to be released. Moving forward, the utmost hypocrisy of Igbo politicians is to use the media to fool our people with frivolous promises that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Even the so-called Benjamin Carlo, or what do they call him? They have all failed in the Igbo and should not be re-elected if they continue to fool us and politicize Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. Most especially this election coming up in this year. Soludo should never be re-elected because that is the most annoying part of it. He is behind the cathedral of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, starting from Hope, when Hope wanted for the election. He hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, Chukwu Masoludo have went out to tell the general public that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should not be released. That even if he released, that it would not curb the insecurity. In other words, Soludo have already pressed for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu not to be released. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention is an outright humiliation of Ndigbo, the statement said. Ndohu. Things like this make us sad to identify ourselves as Nigerians. Sunday Igboho shares experience at the UK airport. Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, has cited corruption and lack of security as why many Nigerians are not proud to identify as citizens. Nigerian News report that Igboho, who was spotted at an airport in the United Kingdom, highlighted security lapses in Nigerian airports, noting that travelers' belongings are often stolen by the airport officials. He said the security and many other issues in Nigeria are why they are agitating for separation. Igboho maintained that if Nigeria cannot function as a unified country, the various ethnic nationalities should be allowed to separate. According to Igboho, Yoruba youths who have gained valuable knowledge and experience from traveling worldwide are eager to have a Yoruba nation. If na Igbo man talk this in now, they don't look for his head. He said that with their expertise, the Yoruba nation could be built and transformed into a modern, prosperous society similar to that of Europe. He said, even inside the airport, there is no security. They can steal your belongings inside your bag, in the airport or in Nigerian airports. All these are the things dissuading people from being proud of their country called Nigeria, according to Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho. Things like that make us sad to identify ourselves as Nigerians. This is why we advocate for separation. If Nigeria is not working as a country, it is better we go our separate ways. Our Yoruba youths will transform Yoruba nation. Most of them have traveled across the world and they have learned a lot. If they came back to Yoruba land, the knowledge will help them build it or rather build it and transform the nation like those in Europe. Nnamdi Kanu insists on change of judge, declines Nigeria government request for trial resumption. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, had rejected the request by the Fulani government for the resumption of his trial. The lead counsel of the IPOB's leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Aloy Ejimako, made this revelation in a post via his official X handle on Tuesday this week. He said his client has opposed the federal government bid to reopen the trial and insisted that the trial judge, Justice Binta Iyako, must recuse herself from that case. Ejimako argued that Justice Iyako's decision to recuse herself was still valid and binding. Our position is based on the fact that Justice Iyako entered and enrolled an order recusing herself on September 24 of 2024. And to date, that order remains extant and subsisting. It has not been set aside by any competent court, Ejimako stated. Ejimako further accused the prosecution of attempting to mislead the court, insisting that Kanu no longer has a case before Justice Iyako. Kanu, who is being prosecuted on 7 counts of treasonable felony and terrorism, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. He was first arrested on October 14 of 2015 following his return to Nigeria from the UK and was later granted bail in 2017 on health grounds after being detained at the Kuje Correctional Facility. Later, Kanu fled the country after a raid by the military on his home and moved back to the United Kingdom, but was later kidnapped in Kenya in 2021 and brought back to Nigeria. He was again arrested or rather kidnapped or abducted in Kenya in 2021 and repatriated or rather extraordinary rendition to the country and has been detained in the custody of the Department of State Service, DSS. At least at the last court session on September 24 of 2024, Kanu requested that Justice Iyako recuse herself. He cited a loss of confidence in her handling of the case. Injustice Iyako agreed to recuse herself and forwarded the case file to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment. However, the Chief Judge returned the case to Justice Iyako, stating that 2 other judges had previously recused themselves, and Justice Iyako, having handled the matter since 2015, was best positioned to conclude it. The Chief Judge instructed that if Kanu still wanted Justice Iyako to step aside, he must file a formal motion with an affidavit detailing his reasons, serve it on the prosecution, and await Justice Iyako's determination. Despite this directive, the federal government counsel Adeboyaga Owomolo SAN requested a new trial date in a December 5, 2024, letter addressed to the Deputy Chief Registrar of Federal High Court. Owomolo argued that the Chief Judge's decision reinstated Justice Iyako as the trial judge. Demanding Justice Iyako's withdrawal from his case at the previous proceedings, Kanu, who shouted down his lawyer and spoke for himself, maintained that he did not trust the judge to be impartial. Kanu's repeated applications for fresh bail have been turned down by Justice Iyako. Addressing the judge directly, Kanu said, "My lord, I have no confidence in this court anymore, and I ask you to recuse yourself because you did not abide by the decision of the Supreme Court to grant him the bail. I can understand it if the DSS refused to obey a court order, but for this court to refuse to obey an order of the Supreme Court is regrettable. I'm asking you to recuse yourself from this case." However, the prosecution counsel Owomolo urged Justice Iyako to regard Kanu's claim of disobeying a Supreme Court order and proceed with the hearing. "My lord, you should not recuse yourself on the basis of this mere observation which does not have anything to do with Supreme Court. It is an incompetent observation. We urge this court to proceed with the hearing," Owomolo said. But Kanu vehemently objected, waving a copy of a document in his hand, which he said was a copy of the subsisting judgment of the Supreme Court. He proceeded to read a part that said, the actions of the trial court rendered the impartiality of the judge suspect. He also tried to explain to the judge that his objection to her presiding over his matter was not personal, but that he was now fed up with the trial, which according to him was at variance with constitutional provisions. Declaring her stance on the matter, Justice Iyako declared, I hereby recuse myself and remit the case file back to the Chief Judge of the Federation. Reno Omokiri recounts how Obasanjo Fani Kayode stopped Gaddafi's armed entourage into Zojuria. A former special assistant to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, Reno Omokiri, has shared how late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi was twice prevented from bringing arms into Nigeria during visits under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Omokiri shared the account on his X handle while reacting to an alleged protocol breach by Burkinabe President Captain Ibrahim Traore, who reportedly carried a weapon during a meeting with Ghanaian President John Mahama. Omokiri recounted that the Nigerian authorities caught Gaddafi to size on 2 occasions when he attempted to bring armed bodyguards and weapons into the country. The first time was during the African Heads of Government Summit on rollback malaria held on Tuesday, April 25 of 2000. He said, according to Omokiri, Gaddafi's female bodyguards tried to enter the International Conference Center in Abuja with weapons, but were stopped by Obasanjo's chief security officer. They were disarmed at gunpoint before being allowed into the venue with Colonel Gaddafi to join other African leaders, Omokiri added. The second incident, described as a more dramatic, occurred during the South African South America Summit in November of 2006. Gaddafi arrived with about 5 huge planes, which offloaded approximately 50 cars loaded with weapons. Nigerian officials at the Nnamdi Azikiwe airport told Gaddafi and his over 200 guards that they could not leave the airport with their weapons. The Nigerian army ensured the weapons were put back on the planes, Omokiri narrated. Omokiri used the incident to emphasize Nigeria's authority and influence in the region, contrasting it with Ghana. This once again demonstrates the difference between Nigeria and Ghana and vindicates our position as the regional superpower, he said, adding that no foreign leader will be allowed to breach protocol in Nigeria as well as was alleged in Ghana. Omokiri added that Colonel Gaddafi was incensed. He said since he was not being allowed to leave the airport with his cars filled with weapons, he would walk into Abuja. Chief Femi Fani Kayode, who was detailed by President Obasanjo to receive Colonel Gaddafi, was concerned and called the president, who told him to tell Gaddafi he was on his way to the airport. When President Obasanjo arrived, he played with Gaddafi and told him he was on his way to Lagos, but that the incident would be resolved by his personal representative, Minister Fani Kayode. The president then took Fani Kayode aside and whispered into his ear in Yoruba to the effect that you are in charge, play with him, be polite and diplomatic, but those weapons are not entering Abuja. The former presidential aide said Obasanjo then headed to Lagos, leaving Chief Fani Kayode to argue back and forth with Gaddafi, who threatened to return to Libya. But in line with Obasanjo's instruction, Fani Kayode subtly told him that we would rather have you stay, but if you choose to go, we understand. And when Gaddafi saw how resolute Chief Fani Kayode was, they returned all their weapons to their planes under the supervision of the Nigerian army. Omokiri said the stance of the Nigerian government on the issue following Obasanjo's instruction, forced the late Libyan leader heads to go spiritual over the matter. When Colonel Gaddafi was allowed into Abuja, he was escorted to the guest house arranged for him by Nigeria. The first thing his guards did was to slaughter a ram and spill the blood in front of the door. Once that happened, Colonel Gaddafi stepped over the blood into the house, the fence house, and would not allow anyone else to enter after him. He submitted. Taking a swipe at the action of the newly elected Ghanaian President, Omokri said that is how you show that you are a sovereign nation, not by having a 36-year-old unelected junta leader of Burkina Faso who has turned his country into a client state of Russia do to you in your own country what he would never in a million years do to Russians, Vladimir Putin, according to Femi Fani Kayode, who is crying blood. I don't even know where his statement is heading to. But anyway, that's by the way. And my people, the message is very clear and very, very open. It is opendential and not secretly. So I would like you to do me a favor. Like, share, comment, and keep subscribing for more interesting videos coming your way. My name still remains Amandia Neze. I am reporting live from the platform of Okute Daily Talk, where we always speak to you the undiluted truth about everything. Or rather, you can call me Okulora One Nasia. Now this channel, where you get finest conversations every day, morning, afternoon, night, including midnight. In fact, anytime you call us, we are always available to answer to you. So my people, make us enjoy this one this Friday morning. I'll be right back again. Kemesiano.